Superman Unlimited issue 9, Dan Slott writing with Mike Norton on the art. And this is all about the prankster wanting to kill Perry White, because Perry White, who's mayor, of course, just in case anyone's forgotten that,
yes,
he is like, you know, saying like, oh, this prankster, or even this prankster, he's talking about the assassination that's been happening, because the book actually starts with, like, it's like Steve Lombard, Vicky Vales in Metropolis, and Jack Ryder are sitting around telling stories about these weird deaths that have been happening, and they're laughing about it, which makes Clark uncomfortable. But they're all these silly deaths where, like, oh, someone get a pie in the face, but the pie happened to have like a stink bomb in it, but this guy was allergic to it, so he died from a pie to the face, and which is objectively a little bit funny. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but
yeah. So like the way that Slott tries to frame these, they're like the Darwin Awards, right?
Yes.
Where the Darwin Awards are like dumb ways to die, but to me, the Darwin Awards are always like that because it was someone that made the choice, right? Not what makes them darkly funny. It's like the guy that bet his friend he could jump over the subway tracks like in the Matrix before the train came and gets hit by the train, right? That wasn't like the train guy swerving out of the way to hit somebody as part of the prank, you know? So there's definitely something sinister going on here.
Yeah.
From the beginning, which I do like them laughing about it, making Clark uncomfortable, because Clark's still like, yeah, but people are still dying, guys. Like,
yeah. Which, don't get me wrong, not that I think Clark or Superman would be okay with the traditional Darwin thing either. I feel like he would still think that's sad, but he is right. This is not quite that, because this is people who are not putting themselves in that position themselves. Right. But it turns out that this is actually a series of assassinations that's happening by the prankster, who likes to do it in silly ways. And as he frames it later, it's not just about amusing himself. It's about, well, not only are they dead, but now they're a laughing stock. Now, whenever anyone thinks of, you know, I'm going to bring up an example here, and this was something, this was self-inflicted, this one, but David Carradine, right? You cannot bring up that man without thinking about the fact that he died via autoerotic asphyxiation and was found with, you know, whatever tied around his neck, and he was clearly masturbating at the time of death. Like, you cannot not hear that and like just like have that cloud your brain every time he comes up. You know? So, which, don't get me wrong, I don't think it ruined his legacy, right? I think still people still like his work, it's fine. But the idea in the comic here is that no, it's not just that you're dead, it's that you'll never be taken seriously after death again. Yeah,
it's assassinating your legacy on the same time. And of course, you know, whose legacy now is the former editor of the Daily Planet, who's now mayor.
Well, it's not just that. It's specifically because the mayor's saying, she's talking about like a crime boss. He doesn't even come into it that much later, but he's talking about this crime lady who is like, oh, she's small potato, she's not a big deal. Don't worry, her dad, who was the real crime boss, is behind bars. Smash cut to her, hey, prankster, I want the mayor dead. He said mean things about me. And the prankster comes out of the wall like Freddy Krueger, with a big smirk in his face.
Yeah, so they're talking about the inner gang. This is who, you know, the major crime unit in Metropolis has done a good job at pushing inner gang out, and they got Bruno Mannheim, who's the leader. It's his sister, who's known as Minnie Mannheim. And again, this is where I feel like Slott's really leaning into the silver aginess of this, because then there's a bunch of kind of jokes about how, you know, she's like Joe Pesci, where she's Joe Pesci's character from Goodfellas, where she's small but she's got a temper, you know, and so, you know, don't call her Minnie to her face, kind of stuff. And yeah, she goes to the prankster, but there's more afoot too with the prankster, because this is not the prankster that I remembered. So I did a little bit of a dive, and I was like, oh no, I guess this is just how he used to look back in the day. Because the prankster I remember was more of a clean cut kind of guy. This guy looks more like a I don't want to say a clown, right? But he has that pencil mustache and the part and the big bow tie. The prankster I remember was a lot more sleek and businesslike. So that was just my reading of it, was that there's something sinister to him.
Well, it's not just him though.
So.
Like he's like, I felt like he seems to be training the new prankster. Is what I was getting from this. Like, because the guy coming out the wall is not the guy with the mustache. It's this guy who's got like a mask on, and he's got like a checkered black and green kind of thing, which is both his mask and his like suit, and he's got like a little red bow tie.
Yeah, all the kind of plaid that we associate with the prankster's costume, it seems to be making up of this guy, and he's almost like Shadow Thief kind of too, right? Where like his face is lacking definition, but you can still see the eyes and the mouth, but there's like no nose or any other identifying features. So he's definitely something different.
Yeah, definitely creepier than traditional prankster. But so you've got like the various attempts on Perry's life. One's at a baseball game where Steve is taking Clark, and Clark just, you know, is able to like go down and block the fact that all of the baseballs have been programmed to go and hit Perry to death. So Superman just comes in and blocks them. And it's probably here where I'll bring up the Norton art a little bit, because I don't think I love the Norton art. I think there's something about it that I find just a little bit off for me. Like, it's not terrible or anything, but there's something just about, like, because this should be like a big splash page, all the baseballs hitting him. It does look old school in a way, which I appreciate, but I don't think I love the way this guy draws regular faces. Now, I think his like young prankster face, the creepy one, I think that does look quite good because it's pretty featureless, but this, you know, the typical stuff, like Superman's face on this page where he's blocking all the baseballs, is leaving a bit to be desired for me.
It just looks a bit more like, I wish he had gone with a different pose for him. It's the way that he's looking up. It almost looks like he's getting ready to do heavy squats with his back arched kind of, and his eyes looking up, you know, and I just feel like I get what he's going for, where he's scanning to see where all these balls are coming from, but also they're coming from every direction, and it seems like Superman's just blocking them from the one, you know.
Also,
so I definitely get where the confusion is.
He's got his legs wide open as well, so all I was thinking was like a RoboCop scenario where one of the baseballs goes through his legs and, you know, whacks Perry right in the junk. Yep. So that's.
But I will give Prankster credit. The baseball one was pretty funny. Like all of the baseballs floating, because it's like free baseball day at the Meteors Park, so everyone has one, and whatever thing he designed, it's drawing to Perry like a magnet. And then the mascot uniform, who is the one that threw the ball that has the magnet in it, gets left there, and I gotta say that also looked pretty funny. Just the Meteors mascot head sitting there.
So, you know, that wraps that up. Superman calls John, who's working with Steel in that in Smallville, as it's mentioned, and he's like, "Hey, is there anything going on with, like, you know, like Mixie or whatever?" And I actually forgot about this scene because it's actually kind of separate from the rest of the book. But Mixie does show up and wants to help John because John's apparently got an arch nemesis that he doesn't know about yet, called Master Tixes?
Master Tixes. Yeah. Tixies. Master Tixies.
Master Tixies. Yes, that's what we'll go with. I was like, how are we going to pronounce this? We have to agree on a pronunciation for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's teasing stuff for the future. Maybe stuff if, you know, Superman's missing for a while. Soon. This is maybe what John's going to be up to in this book.
It could be, and it says that he's fourth dimensional, right? Which is different from the fifth dimension, right? Because the fifth dimension is that of imagination and this. But Mixie's just like, he has been, he is, and he will forever be your greatest arch enemy. And I was just like, that's definitely something different, which I do appreciate Slott bringing into it. You know, as that Mixie's worried about a fourth dimensional thing to help John. I did think it was a little bit weird that John was worried about him blowing his cover when it's kind of just like Steel there, where Steel would already know who John is.
I think, you have to read between the lines. I think the implication is that there's regular scientists walking around all the time at work. So I think that's all that is.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. But I was just like, he's flipping out over, you know, it's him and John Henry. Like, they know each other. But yeah, I do think Norton's Mixie looks really good. Like, I feel like the cartooniness really shows out here. He's very impish.
Yeah, and then the second attempt on Perry's life is when they're giving Superman the key to the city for saving his life. the prankster has like the big key he's getting looks gold, but then the gold all melts off and it's actually kryptonite underneath, which makes Superman hurt, but he quickly goes into gold mode by default. And the prankster knows he's going to do this because remember, we had the whole thing back when this was revealed where someone like, you know, revealed everything about the rules that he only has like 200 seconds of being gold and then he's powerless. So there's like just a shit ton of stuff being thrown at him. There's a plane coming down. The statue of Superman's falling over to land in Perry. And you know, that's happening just as his powers are going away, so he gets just enough time to, you know, blow it away with his super breath before his powers go away, and that kind of ends the whole thing. And you know, Prankster's walking off, and it's funny because he's got the same creepy face with no features, but he's wearing like a hat and a t-shirt, and he's like, oh well, you know, that's 2 out of 3 attempts failed, but hey, 3rd time's the charm. He seems to be enjoying the game. He's enjoying, like, okay, he thwarted me again, but I'm having fun overcoming this Superman challenge. I'm going to get him next time.
And let's not skip that he hits him with it's a bird, it's a plane, right? Because they're at Centennial Park, where the memorial to Superman is, which is, you know, based off that cover with him with the eagle. And the eagle comes to life and attacks him, and he smashes it. And then this is where the bird with the thank you, or the plane with the thank you Superman banner comes through, and he hits that. So I do want to give Prankster credit here for you know, building it around that. Like, there was a clear theme to this said prank.
Yeah, well, the end of the issue, because there was a line earlier on, like when people were talking about like who could be doing these crimes, and someone said, "Is the Joker in Metropolis? What's going on?" And at the end of the issue, the pranksters are watching the news, and it's Clark on the news. Clark Kent's talking on the news, and he's like building up. He's like, "Hey, you know, we've got someone here. These are attempted assassinations. They've got a flair for theatrical and jokes." And young prankster, right? He's like, he's going to watch this. He's going to compare me to the Joker. Oh, what? How mundane, how expected. And then Clark says, he's a lot like Central City's Trickster. And then Prankster is offended that he's not been compared to the Joker.
I love it.
He's been compared to the Trickster. And he looks livid, and then the final page is him saying, I'm going to kill Clark Kent. No one even needs to pay me. I'm going to do it for free, because I want to.
Pro bono. Clark Kent, you're dead. I did love that, because I feel this is where the issue's voice really came alive, where he's seeing, you know, the trickster, and then the older prankster's like, oh my. And then there's a bunch of expletives, you know. So like the mother blanking trickster, I really like that. That was well timed.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. I mean, probably my favorite part of the whole issue was his reaction to being compared to the Trickster. That was really funny. It almost felt like Captain Cold waiting to be like, oh, they're going to compare me to Mr. Freeze again. And then they say Cold Snap, and he's like, what did you say, bitch? Did you just compare me to Cold Snap? Like, that's kind of what this was. I thought that was funny. And you know, I say that as someone who enjoys Trickster as part of the Rogue Gallery, but yeah, I get it. Like, Joker's a bigger main eventer.
Yeah, but outside, I mean, do you have any Trickster memories where like the Trickster had a meaningful moment against the Flash? Not really.
Not really, no.
Like, I like when the Trickster is like an accoutrement to the Rogues. Yeah, he's just there.
He's a part of a whole. He's not worthwhile on his own all that much. That's a perfectly fair statement.
And so you know, so him being upset at being compared to the Trickster, I thought was really good, and not even the cool absolute Trickster, where there's something clearly else going on there. You know, this is the James Jesse, you know, guy that drops marbles on the ground to trip up the Flash. But yeah, I'm wondering how much, like, what exactly is this prankster? Because when Mixie showed up, I thought it was going to be a tie there. Like, somehow prankster's gotten involved with an imp or something, and who's doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah, that's why Clark was asking about like fifth dimensional stuff, is it, you know, because he's thinking, is it some sort of imp or something that's pulling off some of these pranks, because they seem a bit more fantastical than perhaps you would be expecting. But yeah, I mean, clearly at the very least he's got a superpower. He's coming through a wall, but what the cause of that is, we'll find out.
Because the older pranksters, it's like, oh yeah, your new meta abilities or whatever too. So, but I was wondering if that was just a smoke screen you know, they're trying to throw us off or whatever. But yeah, I definitely want to know what's up with this guy because there's a lot of potential with this prankster.
Maybe it's something that they'll tie back to absolute power when some people got powers that didn't have them before, or maybe it'll just be a completely isolated thing.
Yeah.
Who's to say? No, I had a good time with the issue though. I think it was a compelling story. I will say I'm a little bit worried about Superman being gone from all of the books. Obviously, it won't affect action because action's in the past anyway. But like it's one thing, okay, doing it in one book where we're in Superman, so now Superman's gone and we're going to do this and this. But having Superman and Superman Unlimited both missing Superman, I'm curious to see how they handle that and if I'll be missing him a little bit when the time comes. But we'll see.
Yeah. I agree.
But no, I thought it was fun. The prankster was kind of creepy looking. He had a couple of funny moments, particularly the ending with being offended at the comparison. And yeah, it was a fun thing. It felt like another good little solid small. I mean, obviously it's going to be at least 2 parts now, but like, you know, it doesn't feel like it's going to be a 6-issue arc. It feels very well paced for like a 2-part story where next issue he's going to try and kill Clark, and obviously it's not going to go so well. Maybe he'll realize that he's Superman. Maybe, I don't know, it'll just be a funny string of events where he keeps being mad that these things aren't working, like a Roadrunner style, like, you know, why isn't this killing him?
That'd be real funny.
So, no, lots of potential. What are you giving Superman Unlimited, Matt?
I'm going to give this a 7.5.
I think I may go to the 8. I think I had a good enough time. Right. Admittedly, I didn't love the art, so maybe I should dock it a little bit more. I think, you know, if the art was great, like if I really liked the art, I'd maybe even go a bit higher. I think I'll just go 8 though. I'll go 8. You're going 7.5. That's fine. Okay. But no, I'm enjoying the story. I'm liking kind of the smaller stories that Slott's telling in Superman so far. It feels different to a lot of the other books right now, which is nice. I wouldn't want every book to feel like this one, but this, as it is with all the other ones, it feels quite nice.